Grand day, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Huddle. My name is Chase Steele Gray, and it is definitely a pleasure to be here with you today. We have a very special guest, a great friend of mine named Sara Hart. But before we go forward, we got to do the joke of the day. Today's joke is actually a musician joke. So pay close attention to this. The joke is, why did the musician get arrested? Anyone?
He skipped a note.
That's a great answer. We got a great consolation prize for you, my brother Sorrel. But no, the answer is because he was in treble.
Oh.
Roll that tape. I got you with that one, didn't I, Sorrel? Slid it right under the door. Right? Sleek, keen. Once again, grand morning. I am welcoming you once again with my good friend Sorrel Quiton. And today we have a special guest. But before we do, we definitely want to see what's going on in our little world here. So I'm going to call on some people. Whenever I put my screen sideways, I can't see the other people. There we go. Okay. So to get started, I'm going to start with Andrea today. The lovely Andrea, smiling always. How are you?
Chase, I am the way I say I am. And today I am a writer. Inspired writer.
You are a writer. I like that. She went right in with that. Today I am a writer. I like it. Thank you so much. Welcome. Rashida. The reason why I'm on this call. Thank you so much, Rashida. How are you?
I am blessed and not stressed, and highly favored and loved by the universe.
Interesting. Let me ask you, what time is it? And what are you grateful for?
Time is now, right now. This is the time for us to be on the Daily Huddle.
I know that's right. You don't want to mess with Rashida. Rashida brings it all the way in. If you're not ready, don't ask her. I like it. Stan the man. How are you today, sir? He's on mute. He's talking, but he doesn't realize it. There you go.
Ooh,
Stan.
I am wonderful. Yeah, am I there now, Chase?
You are. Where are you? And who will you hug today?
I am here. Right here, Chase. I'm gonna hug my beautiful wife today. I love hugging my beautiful wife.
Please do that often.
Will do.
Thank you, sir. What a pleasure to see you once again.
You too.
So, on to the main event. You know, our guest today, her name is Sara Hart. She is one of my dearest friends on the planet. As you can see, I have some very key people in my life. I've brought on here my friend Daniel and now Sara. Sara has always done the things around her to support her life, to support the people around her. As you can see on her little kind of rundown there, she has tons of training, tons of yoga training, tons of sound meditation training, teacher training. This is a person that always calms me when I see her, when I speak to her. She always has something great to say.
Chase, you went on mute.
You're muted.
See, what happens is that when I slide it over in this position, all the controls go away. It's the weirdest thing. Okay, anyway, I don't want you to miss anything that I said. So just to recap, Sara has always been a calming person in my circle. She's always done some great yoga. She's always done training. She's always been in the flow of helping others. So, of course, why would I bring anyone else on here to answer this question? How to have energy to do all the things you want to do and live the big life that you want. Please welcome to the Daily Huddle, Sara Hart.
Hello, peace, peace, peace. Thank you for having me here. Thank you, Chase, for inviting me.
Hey, you did it. You did it to yourself by being the amazing person that you are. So let's unpack this question today. And it's interesting because you and I have spoken about this at length over the years. I think I've known you since 2006, which is crazy, right? But yeah, unpack this question for us a little bit and tell us what your perspective is on this.
Well, we live in a very busy time, right? We all have our lives, our jobs, our families, our responsibilities. And often I hear all the time, I don't have enough time to eat right, to do the things I have to do, to feel good. Right. There's all this energy focused on not enough time, not feeling well, worried about not being well, all of this. Right. And really, it's very simple. I was thinking about this. It's all about discipline. And often think of discipline as something that will take up too much time or take us away from what we really want to be enjoying. It really is the discipline that will allow you to give yourself energy, feel positive and good, and continue to learn and grow for yourself to fulfill yourself. So I really think the simplest answer is discipline will allow you to have energy, grow energy, and sustain yourself.
Is it just me, or are you trying to give us your half superhero beautiful face today?
Half?
Are you? Oh, there you go. Come on in.
Sorry.
Come on, there you go. I was like, man, maybe it's me. Is my mind shifting to the left? What is going on?
My eyes before I get out of the
I want to ask you a question, and I know I've spoken to you over the years about this, about the yoga. Tell us how important you think yoga is to the common everyday person, with time, without time. How would you kind of introduce that into someone's life? What would you say to them?
Well, I would say that we're already doing yoga. That often we get confused with the different systems that yoga is involved in. We think it's a religious practice. We think it's only Eastern. We think it's only place, right?
Right.
And you can and can't do because if you're a man or a woman or whatever, all those different things. When yoga is none of those things, and yoga is something that is organic to the body. And when you start actually learning about the teachings of yoga, that's what it describes itself as it is something that is organic to you, that is natural and is part of nature. And these movements, so even just the physical movements, are meant to keep us physically healthy. But really, it goes beyond that with being able to connect our mind, body, and spirit. And this can be applied to whatever your faith is, whatever your cultural practices are.
Right.
Yoga always will be there correctly.
True. I think it's all true. And do you remember, would you say that you remember the difference from when you weren't kind of immersed in yoga and this amazing health and wellness lifestyle till now? Like, what are the major benefits that you've gotten out of being in this kind of yoga sphere for so long? And like, how has it brought those kind of newness moments or even greater health to your life?
Well, I'm very grateful. I started really on this path of wellness since I was a child. I'm about 40, and I probably started
Wouldn't know it.
I started on this path probably 9 or 10 years old, and in evolution. So not that I started as an advanced practitioner in any way, but as an evolution over the years. So over the years, what I can definitely see is as I started to evolve in my yoga practice, my health journey, for me personally, I've, knock on wood, reversed all my asthma symptoms, issues, never need any medication for probably 20 years or so now.
Right.
That's one thing that specifically to me has been erased. And I notice also just my temperament, my ability to be more relaxed when things are stressful, or if I do get off the rails, I have steps that are already ingrained in me to bring myself back into an equal space. That's definitely the most huge in my day-to-day. And actually, I don't even think about it. I also have a little scoliosis, so my low spine is crooked, and I used a lot of pain, and I don't experience any pain anymore, just from being able to practice these things. And what sustains the no pain in my back is not fancy yoga or extra tricky stuff. It really is one or two small movements that I've learned that helps me specifically with that thing, and I do that every day. And it is very
that's amazing. I know you remember this way back when I was doing Bikram yoga quite a bit. I would start the year off with a 30-day challenge, and I did Bikram every day for 30 days. You remember that? And I remember the yoga stripping my body down. Like it was, 10 pounds gone. And I wasn't overweight. So it was like, and I remember when I went into the room, I remember hearing this echoing in my head, like, you're not flexible enough. You're not flexible enough. And I appreciate what you said before, because I think a lot of people don't do yoga or whatever because they think they have to come in like this Zen warrior with their head wrapped around their neck and stuff, like, and they're looking around. And I used to look at people in class as well. I used to go and look at what everybody's doing, and then I stopped. I went right to the front every class so that I can only see myself in the mirror, right?
Yeah.
Do you have with the people that do yoga now within your studio and in front of you, do you find that people are in this particular moment more open to it based on what we're all going through? Or do you feel like you're having less people come because they're afraid of kind of going out into that area?
I see a shift for sure. I definitely think coming out of the pandemic and all of these things that have been going on everywhere, there's been a greater concern for their health, both on simple things of just feeling better, but then also a lot of people have had reflection time on their mental health overall, their family engagement, their relationships, their friends, their time alone, their anxieties just from stress. I'm seeing a lot of people actually asking questions of how themselves versus just going to an exercise. And I'm seeing shifts in my class. Well, this is how I've always taught. I've always encouraged more about why they're practicing. And for me, particularly, especially with yoga, I'm usually an off the mat teacher. So you're not imitating me. I'm instructing you and you're practicing, right? So there's a dynamic in trying to teach people to be more self-reliant. And I see that people are interested in that practice. And if they're go do other things.
Right. I know this about you. I'm asking this question, or I pretty much know these things, but I'm asking this question for everybody else. Can you give people a brief description of sound healing versus Reiki? Because I know that you do both of those. And I really think people don't understand what Reiki is, nor sound healing. So could you give us just a snippet or a definition of that where someone would maybe want to go find out more about it?
Yeah, I mean, these things are relatively hard to explain because it does deal with kind of an intangible concept of energy.
Right.
A lot of these disciplines, whether it's yoga or even Chinese medicine and these different paths, they'll talk about chi, prana, but these words can be very abstract.
Correct.
So I'll do my best to explain it, but it's still be abstract because it is one of these things that you have to experience to kind of have it really click for you.
Right. And that is why I asked you, Sara Hart, a great one.
But the long and short, Reiki is an energy movement practice. So a Reiki practitioner is someone that assists the client or the person to move their chi within the body. And it's not that the person who's the Reiki practitioner is a magician, but they're usually aware of pressure points in the body, portals, so to speak, of energy movement in the body. And these usually follow the meridian lines. In yoga and Ayurveda, it's the nadis. So if you're familiar with acupuncture and reflexology, it's the same pathways. If you've seen those diagrams,
Right.
the organs on the face and the ear and the eyes, wherever,
Mm-hmm.
the Reiki practitioner stimulates these areas for the energy to move. And usually it's a non-touch practice. Sometimes
Right.
there's light touch or gentle massage that will assist. And then you can get more into reflexology, which is pressure, but you still are using a Reiki energy.
Right.
And then with sound healing, it deals with vibration, and the vibration affects the water in our bodies. So if you've ever seen water vibrate, from anything, that's what it's doing to you when you play these singing bowls or certain instruments. And it's different than just music in general, even though we can experience that when we can feel the music and we'll have a response emotionally or physically. We kind of understand that, but when we deal with sound healing, it's usually not something that is music, and the notes that are used are very specific to stimulating the chi in the body to move a certain direction. And sound healing is said to work on a cellular level all the way, all the moisture in your body will be affected.
I did it right in that room. Whew.
Yes, you did.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, how did you feel from that sound healing?
That was powerful. It really was. I mean, I'm a musician, so I deal a lot with sound. And I didn't mean to cut you off. I just got excited. Sorry, I just got a phone call. I just got excited that you talked about that. I remember myself being in that room. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's how it is. So sound healing can be in a group or it can be individual. You can, of course, practice sound healing on yourself, but it's always good to receive it from someone else who can also, usually Reiki and sound go together because, again, we're moving chi with the vibration.
Correct.
So
Right.
sound often can be a tool for the Reiki practitioner, or it can be separate.
Excellent. It's funny that you're talking about that. Just a little thing that I wanted to bring into the huddle today. This thing that I have in my hand, you were talking about sound. This is called the Love Tuner.
Oh.
And this works on a 587 hertz. You've heard of that before?
Mm-hmm.
Right? This is like in the same thing, and you just blow in it. Oh, sorry. And that tone is said to go inside of you and relax certain things like the heart chakra. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Right? This is right up the alley with what you're talking about.
Absolutely.
So I'm just amazed at all the things that we can do to cleanse our system from the inside out. You were talking about water. What's the guy's name that wrote the book on the water? Matsumi Imo. What is that? What's that guy's name?
I don't remember his name exactly.
You know what I'm talking about? But that exchange of water, and they were saying like, okay, write down 5 things that you want to bring stronger into your life, and then put the glass of water over it overnight. And when you get up in the morning, drink the water, and these things will be. I was like, wow, okay, I like that. I like that a lot. Grand Day Gio, how are you? So, Sorel, do you have anything for Sara before we possibly open up for questions?
Yeah, I do have a question. It's a really broad question.
Okay.
And the question is for me as a human being. I've always related to health as eat well, you'll be healthy. Do the right workouts with the right frequency. You'll be toned, you'll look great, and you'll be healthy. Live longer. But listening to you and Chase weave this conversation, the question that's coming up for me is, what is health really for a human being? I'd love your take on that.
I would definitely say that true health is a peacefulness. That's what I would say is true health, because you really can't be peaceful if you're unwell, right? But what you described about, working out, eating right, which is good, but that comes from, I feel like, a more of a body modification and a fitness culture versus an actual healthy wellness culture. Because there's plenty of people who work out and are doing everything amazing and perfect and are definitely not healthy. Absolutely not. But you'll see it. A heart attack at 35, they fall out. They're done. Their knee is done at 42. But yet you were benching all these weights and you were running all these marathons, and but we forget that the mind, in the West, we separate psychology and physical health, right? And in the East, these are all together, that the mind is considered a part of the body, even though it is a more subtle concept. And there's, things that are not tangible in the mind, but what yoga says that the body reflects the mind. So if we're not paying attention to our actual emotional and mental health in the most basic, beyond the things that maybe need more extreme attention, but just our day-to-day mental space, if we're not paying attention to that, then the body is definitely not going to be healthy. And you're only going to be fooling yourself, to be getting to a time. So I think that if the focus should be with our health is peace. And that means finding habits that are gonna be giving you more longevity and more vitality than just sticking to fitness regimens, because we forget we usually start our fitness routines at a relatively healthy point in our life. And then we are going to age. Doesn't mean we get unhealthy, but we start to age, and our body and our mind and our time is different. And the things that we need, and male and female things, will be different of what we need emotionally, hormonally, all these things. So that I think to really focus on bridging the mental health with our physical, and understanding that, especially with yoga, the purpose of the movements is not physical fitness. It's kind of a happy perk that you get really strong and can flip upside down and put your hand over wherever. That's extra. But really is that, like I said, a reduced pain in my body. Amazing. I can get up and get down. I can go down on the floor and get back up, and not trying to do that. And that's most of us. By the time we're 30, I hear people like moaning and groaning just to sit down, just to get up. Right?
It's true. It's really true. It's really, really true.
So much, Sarah. So for me and others who may be looking for a set of habits to practice to generate that kind of energy, what would you prescribe?
Well, I would always say yoga. This has been a chief thing in my life personally. But yoga can be very vast. We say yoga and we usually think of a certain style, Bikram, Hatha, Iyengar. We think of these people or these lineages of yoga, maybe even if you think of it at all. But I don't think it has to be something that's specific unless you want to really be disciplined about it. I think that the most important thing is that you are focusing on range of movement every day.
Right.
And really beyond that, that you're focusing on breathing every day properly. If we're not able to breathe properly, you definitely can't work out. And we will feel that. So I think that the way to start coming into a practice when you're not familiar with it or feeling intimidated is really just to start exploring your own body movement. Simple things. Stand up, get down, lift your arms up, move them out, touch your toe. Doesn't have to be anything fancy. Neck rolls. And then I think the most important thing is really being able to focus on your breathing. Most of us are shallow breathing. Most of us are holding our breath, clenching our teeth, frowning our face all the time, forever. So even if just for once in a while, you take a check-in and give yourself a body scan, and meaning that you really think about it. Top of my head, forehead, relax the face, unclench your teeth. We're always grinding, right? Really think, drop the shoulders all the way down. Just even doing that throughout your day, I would say you'd want to try to do that every hour. Melt it. You'll start to shift your physical tension in the body. And just by doing this practice, you're going to start inviting your mind to want to do more of these things, because these things are natural to you. but we have to kind of retrain it. Because if you think about when either you were a child or if you have children in your life, a lot of times young children, young under 5, definitely, will do these little regulatory practices on their own. And it's just natural to them, right? They'll sit in weird yoga positions. You don't know how they got there. And they are perfectly comfortable, right? They are. They'll sit all the way reclined in a full back bend. They'll be upside down. Toddlers love it. Their booty's up, head down all the time. But these are energetic practices that are actually natural to us that we outgrow or be taught out of as we grow, because it's inappropriate to be upside down all the time, right? But this is an action that sends our energy when we need to regulate, right? So I think it's getting back into that free movement like a child is the first thing. Being unafraid to just let it go. We get very restricted for all kinds of positive reasons, but you got to relax also. Most of our illness and tension is from our own mental stress. You know, it's usually not an impact injury. Illness is usually from a stress of some sort, relatively speaking. You know? But,
Thank you, Sarah.
Right.
Thank you.
So that's great. We have a couple questions. Rashida, your hand is up.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much, my dear brother, to bringing Miss Hart to the platform. Thank you so
Always
much,
a pleasure.
Miss Hart.
you.
I love your presentation. I have took away a lot of nuggets as a yoga teacher and Reiki practitioner. It's so amazing that even as we sit in front of a group and tell them what to do, nothing like when they started to put hands on. It's amazing. And one of the things that when I finished with my yoga teacher, I used to, before the pandemic, I used to go to nursing homes, and help these seniors. It's amazing. I used to go twice a week, and when they see me coming through the door, I used to just practice sitting yoga with them. And when they see me coming through the door, they say, "Oh, tonight I'm gonna get a good sleep. Tonight I'm gonna get a good sleep."
It's true.
Because it's just amazing to see, just able to breathe and teach someone to breathe. It's make a difference to that person's life. So thank you so much. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
You too. Thank you for spreading it out there also. It's so important.
Excellent. We got some, we got a couple more minutes. Stan, your hand was up.
Yeah, hi. Thanks a lot. My question was kind of answered by what Sorrel asked, because I was going to ask where's the beginning? Where should we really start?
Where's the beginning?
Yeah, where's the beginning? Where should we really start in our journey into a relationship through yoga, whatnot?
Yeah, I would still continue to say is breathe. The breath is the most important, is paying attention on the first space before we start getting into things like pranayama and breath control practices and things like that, which is something that I would encourage. But there's so many. So it is just first paying attention to where are you breathing? You'll probably know that you're not. That's usually when we start to actually check in. It's usually shallow. We're usually holding our breath. We do weird habits when we're concentrating, all these things. So it's first start reflecting on those things and remember to exhale. I always tell my students and everyone that if you exhale, you will always inhale. It's the rules. It's the law.
It's a great sentence.
I know, because we always think of breathing as the inhale. We automatically exhale, right? Thank goodness we automatically inhale and exhale, right? But if you really concentrate on exhaling and you focus on lengthening your exhale longer, just even a nanosecond, and smoother and slower, you'll inhale smoother and slower and stronger. And it can be your own, whatever level you're at now, and it will increase that I would say is an important thing to start and do.
Absolutely true. One more hand, Giovanni, what you got?
Thank you, Jace. Thank you, Sarah, right?
Yes.
Sarah, yeah.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
I have a profound love and appreciation for yoga and people who spread the possibility that yoga is. And it's a future that it's called, you know, yoga is a future that calls me. It's something that I just profoundly respect. And I wanted to ask you, and kind of maybe a different note, maybe you addressed it and I missed it. Your if you will, your title on your Zoom is "Be the Community You Seek." And you know, there's many ways I've seen people put their title, and that one points to collective, points to a very a bigger cause than usual, that doesn't represent the self but rather community. And I was wondering why, where are you coming from when you wrote "Be the Community You Seek"?
Well, I'm coming from the idea of that we are a community all together, globally together. Our, you know, yoga teaches us that we are all one, not that we're all the same in you know, this monotony way, but that we all are come from one consciousness, and we're all these different expressions of time and life and different communities. And I do really think that to heal ourselves, we do need to come together with people who are also healing themselves. And it can be in various ways. And this being the title of my Zoom, you know, I lead classes and meditation on my Zoom. And I want to also remind people that it isn't about me. I'm definitely not the most fanciest yogi or the most famous or the most able to put my foot over my head or levitate or whatever, you know. But I share what I know, I share what I practice, I care, and I want people to grow with the information and even come back and teach me, because we're a community, right? And so that's what I want to instill, and I think that you got it, for people to think about on themselves, think about how we come together, even in this, to have this conversation and stimulate these ideas of beyond ourselves by helping ourselves is what it's all about.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent. Wow, we're covering a lot of stuff today. So that's our time. Wow, it always goes so quickly. It's an amazing thing how it goes so quickly. Thank you so much, Sarah, for being here. If you want to reach Sarah, please go on to Facebook. She has all of her information there. Incidentally, Sarah is leading a retreat at the end of the year that I definitely plan on being at. So please go and look at that. It's going to be phenomenal, and I'll let that information speak for itself when you go there. But thank you so much. It's great to see you. And always, before we leave, we're going to just put those 8 tenets out one more time so that we have that framework before we leave the huddle. And that is to live and love, laugh out loud, right? Eat mostly plant-based. Give as much as you possibly can. So many people need to receive greatness right now. Sleep, get some extra sleep. Man, I'm speaking to myself. Goodness gracious, more sleep. And as Sarah was saying, move more than you think you should. Keep your body active, keep your body in a flow moving forward. And lastly, but certainly not least, please check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's important. It's so important. Thank you all. It's been a pleasure. My name is Chase Still Great. What a pleasure it is always to be here. Have a spectacular day. Be you and keep pushing forward, my good people. Have a great one.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
One love,
so
guys.
much.
One love.
Thank you.
Peace, peace.
Peace.